October 30th, 1960. A legend is born. In the heart of Villa Fiorito, a humble and poverty-stricken neighborhood on the outskirts of Buenos Aires, Diego Armando Maradona took his first breath. Life was hard, unforgiving. The streets, dusty and unpaved, were his first playground. A soccer ball, his escape. From makeshift goals to ragged clothes, hardship was all he knew. But in the midst of poverty, there was an indomitable spirit. A burning passion for the beautiful game ignited within young Maradona. His talent, pure and undeniable, shone through the dust. It was more than just skill. It was magic in motion. At 8 years old, his legend began. El Pibe de Oro, they called him, a nickname whispered with awe and reverence. Little did they know that this boy from Fiorito would transcend borders, captivate hearts, and become a god. His feet, dancing with the ball, became a blur. He weaved through opponents, a force of nature on the dirt fields. Each touch, a testament to his natural ability. News of his amazing talent spread like wildfire. From the slums of Fiorito to the bustling streets of Buenos Aires, everyone knew his name. He was a beacon of hope, a symbol of pride for a nation that yearned for greatness. At 16, he stepped onto the professional stage, a boy among men. His debut with Argentinos Juniors marked the beginning of a legendary journey. The world watched in awe as he mesmerized with his daring dribbles and clinical finishing. Maradona was more than just a footballer. He was an artist, a maestro orchestrating breathtaking symphonies on the field. His star continued to rise, his legend growing with every passing game. He carried the hopes and dreams of a nation on his shoulders. And he, the kid from Fiorito, was ready to conquer the world. Argentinos Juniors became his canvas, a stage where he painted masterpieces with his left foot. Goals flowed like water, each one a testament to his genius. He danced past defenders, leaving them clueless, lost in his wake. Crowds chanted his name, a chorus of adoration echoing through the stadiums of Argentina. The world began to take notice. His name, whispered in hushed tones, became synonymous with brilliance. European giants cast envious eyes on the young prodigy, eager to witness his magic firsthand. But Maradona, true to his roots, stayed. He wasn't done with Argentina, not yet. He had a promise to keep, a debt to repay to the club that had given him wings. His loyalty, however, wouldn't last forever. The allure of Boca Juniors, the team he supported as a boy, proved too strong to resist. La Bombonera, the stadium of Boca, awaited its new idol. 1981. Maradona donned the blue and gold of Boca Juniors. The roar that greeted him was deafening, a city welcoming its prodigal son. The pressure was immense, the expectations sky high. Yet, he thrived under the weight of a nation's hopes. He led Boca to the league title, his dazzling performances etching his name into the club's folklore. He was unstoppable, a force of nature unleashed on the field. His goals, audacious and breathtaking, became legendary. He played with a joy, a freedom that was infectious. The fans adored him, their love reciprocated with every mesmerizing dribble, every thunderous strike. But Maradona was destined for bigger things. His talent, too immense to be contained within Argentina's borders, demanded a grander stage. The world was calling, and he, the kid from Fiorito, was ready to answer. The 1982 World Cup in Spain was coming up. Maradona, carrying the hopes and dreams of a nation on his young shoulders, was preparing to showcase his talent on the world stage. The world waited with bated breath, eager to witness the magic firsthand. He was the star, the main attraction, the one everyone wanted to see. He didn't disappoint. His performances, though lacking a fairy tale ending, cemented his status as a global icon. He was marked, kicked, and attacked relentlessly, but still, he shined. The world marveled at his skill, his tenacity, his unwavering faith. But the World Cup also offered a glimpse of the pressures that came with his genius. The weight of expectations, the constant scrutiny, took its toll. It was a learning curve, a taste of the challenges that lay ahead. He would return 4 years later, stronger, more determined, ready to write his name in the history books. 1982. Maradona, with the world at his feet, landed in Barcelona. A record-breaking transfer at the time marked his arrival, a symbol of the Catalan club's ambition. He was the star signing, the missing piece in their quest for glory. The Camp Nou, the grand cathedral of football, awaited its new deity. The stage was set, the expectations immense. His time at Barcelona, however, would be a tumultuous affair, a mix of brilliance and frustration. He dazzled with his genius, scoring spectacular goals, orchestrating breathtaking plays. But injuries and off-field problems plagued his time in Spain. He clashed with the club's hierarchy, his rebellious spirit chafing against the limitations imposed upon him. The Catalan press, initially enamored, turned critical. His lifestyle, a stark contrast to Barcelona's disciplined environment, became a source of controversy. Maradona, the free spirit, felt suffocated, limited by the expectations and pressures of playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. Yet even amidst the turmoil, his talent shone through. He led Barcelona to a Copa del Rey victory, his brilliance undeniable. But it was a marriage destined to end in acrimony. A bitter divorce, played out in full view of the world's media, awaited. The stage was set for a new chapter, a new beginning. The 1984 Copa del Rey final, a glimpse into Maradona's time at Barcelona. A brutal match, marred by cynical fouls and aggression, boiled over at the final whistle. Maradona, relentlessly targeted throughout the match, finally snapped. A full-blown brawl erupted involving players, coaching staff, and even fans. The shame of Zaragoza, as it became known, sealed his fate. The Barcelona board, already disillusioned, decided to cut their losses. His departure was inevitable. The destination, however, was unexpected. Napoli, a club starved for success, a city yearning for a hero, came knocking. It was a curious decision, a gamble for both sides. Maradona, escaping the pressure cooker of Barcelona, found solace in the chaotic embrace of Naples. The city, passionate and relentless, saw in Maradona a reflection of themselves. He was one of them, a fighter, a rebel, a man who understood their struggles. Naples, in Maradona's own words, was a place where he could be himself. It was a city that embraced his flaws, celebrated his genius, and adored him like a god. He was their savior, the man who would lead them to the promised land. His arrival in Naples sent shockwaves through the world of soccer. This was a club that had never won a Serie A title, a team languishing in the shadows of the Italian giants. But Maradona, with his daring talent and unwavering belief, dared to dream. He promised the Napoli faithful a revolution, a chance to challenge the established order. The Stadio San Paolo, a cauldron of noise and passion, became his Colosseum. He fed off the adoration of the fans, their unconditional love fueling his genius. He led by example, every touch a testament to his extraordinary skill. He dribbled past defenders with ease, his left foot weaving magic, his goals defying logic. He forged an unbreakable bond with the city, his rebellious spirit resonating with the Neapolitan people. He embraced their culture, their struggles, their dreams. He became more than just a footballer. He was their icon, their messiah. He was Diego Maradona, the god of Naples. With each passing season, the fortunes of Napoli changed. They climbed the Serie A table, challenging the dominance of the northern giants. Maradona, the catalyst, inspired his teammates to achieve the unthinkable. He lifted them to heights they had never dreamed of reaching. The stage was set for a historic triumph, a moment that would define Maradona's legacy and etch his name forever in the folklore of Naples. 1986, Mexico, the World Cup, a stage set for redemption. Diego Maradona, bearing the scars of Spain '82, returned hungrier, more determined. This was his moment, his chance to silence the doubters and etch his name in football history. He was no longer just a gifted player. He was a leader, a captain ready to carry the hopes and dreams of a nation. The world watched with bated breath. Could he replicate his Napoli form on the biggest stage of all? Could he, burdened by expectations, deliver for his beloved Argentina? The answers came swiftly, emphatically. Maradona, as if possessed, dominated every game, every touch a testament to his genius. He was a whirlwind of energy, skill, and passion, driving his team forward with relentless determination. Opponents, overwhelmed by his aura, resorted to desperate measures. They kicked, they hit, they tried to intimidate. But Maradona, fueled by an inner fire, rose above the brutality. He was unstoppable, a force of nature unleashed on the world stage. His goals, each a masterpiece, propelled Argentina through the group stage, their sights set on the ultimate prize. The quarterfinals. Argentina versus England. A clash charged with political tension, a legacy at stake. The world held its breath as two giants of football collided. The first half, tense and cautious, did nothing to separate the two sides. Then, 6 minutes into the second half, came the controversy. A failed clearance, a moment of madness. Maradona, challenging English goalkeeper Peter Shilton for an aerial ball, leaped into the air. His fist, not his head, connected with the ball, guiding it into the back of the net. The Argentine players erupted in jubilation, while the English protested angrily. The referee, with no clear view, awarded the goal. A little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God, he would later say, cementing the goal's place in football folklore. Outrage erupted. Cheating, they cried. Deception, injustice. But for Maradona, for Argentina, it was a moment of cunning, of mischief, of bending the rules to his will. Minutes later, redemption. Maradona, receiving the ball in his own half, began a mesmerizing run. He dribbled past English defenders, his feet a blur, his balance impeccable. He left behind a trail of bewildered opponents, their desperate attempts to bring him down proving futile. He beat the goalkeeper, his finish a thing of beauty. It was a goal of astonishing brilliance, a solo effort that defied logic and left the world speechless. From the depths of controversy to the pinnacle of art, Maradona had produced a moment of pure magic. The goal of the century, they called it. A fitting tribute to a goal that transcended sport, a goal that showcased the true extent of Maradona's genius. In the space of 4 minutes, he had written his name into World Cup history, dividing opinions and captivating hearts in equal measure. Argentina, propelled by Maradona's brilliance, won the game 2-1. They had overcome England, and their controversial hero, Diego Maradona, had secured his place in the hearts of a nation. The semi-final was a more straightforward affair, with Argentina easily defeating Belgium. Maradona once again was the star, scoring 2 more goals to add to his growing tally. The final, against West Germany, was approaching. One last obstacle stood between Maradona and immortality. The final, a tense and closely fought battle, saw Argentina take a 2-goal lead. Then, West Germany fought back, equalizing in the dying minutes. Extra time loomed, the tension was palpable. But it was Argentina, inspired by their talismanic captain, who found the winner. A perfect pass from Maradona left Jorge Burruchaga one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he made no mistake. Argentina were the champions of the world. The celebrations were wild, ecstatic. Maradona, hoisted onto the shoulders of his teammates, lifted the World Cup, his face a picture of pure joy. He had done it. He had conquered the world, he had silenced his critics, and he had cemented his legacy as a true legend of the game. The boy from Fiorito, the kid who grew up playing barefoot in the slums, was now on top of the world. He was Diego Armando Maradona, champion of the world, and his legend was only just beginning. 1986. Maradona was at the top of his game. The glory of the World Cup seemed to have cemented his place as a demigod. But beneath the surface, cracks were beginning to show. The pressure of fame, the constant scrutiny, the temptations that came with his lifestyle were taking their toll. He was vulnerable, exposed, and the world, eager to witness both his rise and his fall, watched with a mixture of fascination and morbid curiosity. His time in Naples, although triumphant, was also marked by personal struggles. His cocaine addiction, a secret he could no longer hide, began to affect his performance on the field. The magic, although still glimpsed in flashes, was fading. He was caught up in scandals. His name splashed across the tabloids for all the wrong reasons. The Italian authorities, initially enamored by his genius, turned against him. He was a liability, a target. The taxman came knocking, accusing him of tax evasion. The mafia, with whom he had formed an uncomfortable alliance, exerted their influence, demanding loyalty. Maradona, once untouchable, was trapped, entangled in a web of his own making. The World Cup of 1990, a pale imitation of his previous triumph, marked the beginning of the end. He was a shadow of his former self, his body ravaged by addiction, his spirit broken by the relentless pressure. He dragged Argentina to the final, but it was a hollow victory. The joy, the exuberance, the sheer pleasure of playing had vanished. The fairy tale was falling apart. In 1991, Maradona's world came crashing down. He tested positive for cocaine in a drug test. The Italian authorities, wanting to set an example, banned him from playing soccer for 15 months. His time in Italy, once a love story, was over. He left Naples in disgrace, his legacy tarnished, his reputation in ruins. He sought refuge in Spain, signing with Sevilla, but the magic was gone. He was a pale imitation of his former self, his body wrecked by years of abuse. The Spanish press, which once marveled at his talent, now reveled in his downfall. He was an example to avoid, a stark reminder of the dangers of fame and fortune. The 1994 World Cup offered a glimmer of hope, a chance at redemption. He returned to the Argentinian national team, desperate to recapture past glories. But it wasn't meant to be. He was a shadow of his former self, his movements slow, his touch heavy. Another positive drug test, this time for ephedrine, ended his World Cup dreams. He left the tournament in disgrace, his legacy forever marked by scandal. The last years of his football career were a sad sight. He returned to Argentina to play for Boca Juniors, but the spark was gone. He was a fading star, clinging to past glories. His weight increased, his health deteriorated. He was a prisoner in his own body, his genius suffocated by years of self-destruction. In 1997, at the age of 37, he retired from professional football. The world mourned the loss of a genius, a player who had transcended the sport. But there was also a sense of relief, a hope that he could finally face his demons and rebuild his life. However, retirement did not bring him peace. He struggled with his weight, his health, his addictions. He flirted with controversy, making headlines for all the wrong reasons. He became a caricature of his former self, a parody of the god he had been. However, even in his darkest moments, the world never forgot his genius. The kid from Fiorito, the boy who dared to dream, had left an indelible mark on the world of football. He was Diego Armando Maradona, flawed genius, troubled icon, and his legend, despite his demons, would live on forever. Diego Armando Maradona. The name echoes in the halls of football history. An imperfect deity, a troubled icon, a genius who captivated the world with his dazzling talent and tumultuous life. He was more than just a football player. He was a cultural phenomenon, a symbol of hope for the disadvantaged, a voice for the voiceless. His legacy, like the man himself, is complex and multifaceted. He was a magician with the ball at his feet, capable of feats of extraordinary skill and astonishing artistry. He could single-handedly change the course of a match, inspiring his teammates and reducing his opponents to mere spectators. He was a champion, leading Argentina to glory in the 1986 World Cup, a moment etched in the hearts of a nation. But he was also an imperfect genius, a man who battled addiction and flirted with controversy throughout his life. His demons, often self-inflicted, cast a long shadow over his achievements. He was a rebel, a fighter, a man who refused to bow to social norms, a trait that earned him both admiration and rejection. Yet despite his flaws, his legacy remains intact. He inspired a generation of footballers, his name whispered with reverence by those who followed in his footsteps. He showed the world that anything is possible, that a kid from the slums can rise to the very top. Diego Maradona may be gone, but his legend will live on forever. He was the embodiment of the beautiful game, a reminder that football, at its heart, is a game of passion, of skill, of art. He was, is, and always will be El Pibe de Oro, the Golden Boy, a star who illuminated the world with his unique and unforgettable brilliance.